Breaker Crunchers, welcome to another exciting issue of Couch Crunchers, where we like our steak like Smeagol likes his fish, raw and wriggling. Anyway, with me I have got...
Captain Awesome,
and
aka
I
Tyler.
am Max, the gamer guy. We are excited to be here today. I just went a little crazy there because I forgot to mute the YouTube video. So all of a sudden I started hearing myself speaking really loud in my head. Anyway, we're going to start off the episode like we usually do with Fab or Flub. If you don't know what Fab or Flub is, it's a segment where we discuss the headlines, recent headlines, and we decide whether or not we think they are fabulous or flabulous. Woo! This time, it's pretty much all about Disney related stuff. That is literally, actually, it is. Like, there's nothing else that I have in this Fab or Flub that isn't Disney related. So if you have something that isn't Disney related you want to talk about, Tyler, feel free to mention it. I do want to say, anyone who's watching us on YouTube, I'm very excited about all my new stuff in the background. It's still not exactly decorated how I want, but I've got a new Marvel photo back there and my Batman thing I got at Comic-Con last year. I'm real excited. So anyway, with that said, let's get going in the Fab or Flubs. So first off, Disney has announced that Star Wars is to go on a bit of a hiatus after Episode 9. We don't know exactly what that means, but they are going to go on a hiatus for the movies after Episode 9. What do you think?
You know, some people think this is a good thing. For me, I think it's a bad thing. I'm going to say flub. I don't want less Star Wars. I just want the Star Wars that we want to get, you know.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this kind of a little bit before, but you know, for obviously Episode 8 sat wrong with a lot of people and split the fan base quite a bit, and it made people a little bit less excited to go to the movies. But the other thing that compounded that is that nobody really asked for a solo movie. And so, I mean, it's like we were like, okay, cool, fine, we'll go see Star Wars. But like the people who got, you know, a bad taste in their mouths from Episode 8, they weren't excited to go see it. So
yeah, it didn't make it any better.
Yeah, I mean, so if you look at like any of the forums about what people want to see, you're going to see the Old Republic, you're going to see Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Yoda. Nobody was talking about making a Star Wars movie. They just decided, a solo movie. They just decided we're going to do it. And they found some great actors. Woody Harrelson was fantastic. The Game of Thrones girl that I'm like totally blanking on her name right now.
Amelia Clark. Come on, that's
Amelia Clark.
Forget her. Come on.
Yeah, she was awesome in it. She was awesome. Yeah, nobody asked for a solo movie, and that compounded the issue with it. And now they're giving us less Star Wars, and it was just bad decision making, really.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from. And I think I'm going to say Fab, even though I've actually liked everything that Disney has done. I have a solo poster in the background here of my video. I liked the movie. I didn't love it. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. Might have been 3.5 out of 5. But I liked it, and so it's like, it's weird that I'm saying Fab that they're going on a hiatus, but I think it's Fab because I do think that they're trying to focus on what people want, and I think that's why they're taking a break. So I don't know. I'm with you though. I want that. No one asked for a solo movie. I didn't. I like Han Solo, but that was never something that I was really wanting. Sorry, I'm trying to find a headline because you reminded me of something that I want to put as a Fab or Flub, and I found it. So let's move on to the next one. And this is the one I'm improvising now because you reminded me when you said people want Knights of the Old Republic. Kathleen Kennedy confirms plans for a Knights of the Old Republic movie or TV series. What do you think?
That's amazing. I honestly, I hope it's movies. I would love to see a TV series as well.
Yeah, I would love to see the next trilogy, like the main trilogy to be Knights of the Old Republic. I think that'd be sick if we had like Revan or Darth Bane, or like made them the villain of a trilogy. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine how cool that would
Yeah,
be?
it would be so cool. It would be fantastic. I would love to see that. But I think if they did a TV series, I'd be a little bit less excited. Just because I want a bigger budget for these
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
And so and I feel like they could make a whole new, kind of like a mini universe, kind of like how like the Skywalker saga is its own thing,
Mhm.
make its whole new saga with it, and it could be awesome.
No,
Um,
I absolutely agree. I think that'd be great. I'm fine with anything. I would prefer movies, but I think a TV series could be really cool. But I think ideally, what I'd like to see is both. You know,
yeah,
give us some movies, and then give us like the side stories of those movies in a TV show. Um, that said, like if all we get is a TV show, I still think it'll be cool. Like I agree with you. I'd like to see that really big explosive film get that really big budget into that that shorter storytelling device. Um, but with how TV's been lately, and some of these shows, like Umbrella Academy on Netflix, Doom Patrol, these streaming services, their CGI isn't perfect, but they've got decent budgets and they're making pretty good stuff. So while ideally I'd want a movie, I think it could be really cool as a TV series as well.
yeah. I'm not going to complain about it either way.
It's like as long as we get it right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, and I don't know if this is part of your fab or flub or not, but I am kind of worried about the fact that they still have Ryan Johnson doing a trilogy, um, because whether you like Ryan Johnson or not, he's not good for Star Wars. I don't feel like,
Mhm.
and so. Because he even said himself that he wanted controversy from making Episode 8.
Mhm.
And when you're making movies, you don't want your fan base to be split. That's bad. That's when you get bad box office like numbers like from Solo.
Yeah, exactly. Because that is the fallout. Like I liked Episode 8, but as I rewatch it more and more, I like it less. Um, it's not a great Star Wars movie. It's good, but you're right. Like Episode 8 did a lot. Like it was huge on the money side. It made a ton, but it caused Solo to bomb. Like if Episode 8 had been good, people that weren't excited about Solo, I think still would have gone. I see people that call themselves fans, and I'm air quoting that because I don't think you're really a fan if you're not going to see the movies. But people that are like fans of Star Wars that didn't even go see Solo because they had this terrible taste in their mouth from Episode 8. Um, and I don't want to get in the weeds with what I just said about fans. I just get really annoyed if you say you're a fan of the universe, but you aren't really giving the new stuff a chance. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Um,
So anyway, yeah, I think it's great. I think they need to focus on the good things like we talked about, and either way it's going to be fantastic whatever they do with that. They well, at least they have fantastic material to work with, and they
mhm.
have a great opportunity to deliver on that. So
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our next one. Disney Plus has been, I mean, it was officially announced a while ago, but Disney Plus's price and release date, along with one other thing, have all been revealed. Disney Plus is going to be $6.99 a month or $70, $69.99 for a year. It is, releasing November 12th of this year, 2019, and The Mandalorian TV show is releasing day one of Disney Plus along with it. I'm going to start
okay.
fab. Fab. Like I was expecting. I think the price is about what I was expecting. I was thinking it might be a little more because if I'm remembering correctly, DC's is $79.99, and let's be real here, $69.99 for Disney's stuff is a much better deal. There is so much more in the Disney catalog, especially now that you have The Simpsons and all the other Fox stuff that they've acquired in that lineup, and it's $10 less a year, or I think $1 less a month than the DC streaming service. I think that's really going to hurt DC. But I think this is fab. I'm excited for The Mandalorian. I'm excited for Disney Plus. I think it's going to be cool. I'm not super stoked about like just all these various streaming services becoming the new norm, but it is what it is, and so I'm excited for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fab. Obviously, the concern that you have about streaming services becoming the new norm, I have that same concern. But at the same time, there are good things about it because
Mm-hmm.
the major, I mean, especially having worked for a cable company before, um, the major concern from consumers is I pay for all the stuff I don't want,
Yeah.
and even though we are kind of increasing how much streaming services are starting to cost, we're also cutting out, like, cable and satellite services are becoming
Almost obsolete.
yeah, obsolete, and so we're not paying for those anymore.
Yeah, I
And
canceled my cable 4 years ago, I think, and I haven't really missed it.
yeah, so it's and like there's certain shows that are failing because they're not going to streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
For example, one show that I really love is Into the Badlands.
Oh,
Um,
that's a good one.
yeah, I love Into the Badlands, but it's being ended after its third season because they don't have enough viewers, right? So I'm like, I want to support this show, and I want to, be paying for the service, and then I go to it, and it's like the only way for me to watch Into the Badlands is to pay like $50 a month for my cable company to open up 140 channels.
Yeah.
Like, I just want one show. Like, I don't want
I'm actually
130.
really surprised AMC hasn't started their own, like, because they have so many shows with The Walking Dead and Into the Badlands, and they had Mad Men for a long time. I'm actually really surprised that AMC hasn't already done like a, hey, pay us $5 a month, you can watch all of our stuff without ads. But it's probably contracts with cable companies that don't allow them to do that or something.
But
'Cause
it's
it's
their
the
own
same
fault
thing.
for making the contracts.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because
Yeah.
it's the same thing with the CW. Like, I've gotten so tired of watching on the CW app and having to like watch ads every 4 minutes of television, and then I don't personally like to go to like the pirating websites because they just all the viruses, honestly. Even with decent like soft protection on my computer, I just don't like to.
Yeah.
Luckily, I did find all three of the shows in CW that I actually like to watch on sale on Vudu for like $8 a season recently. So I just bought all the current seasons so I can watch them all. But anyway, like, it's interesting that some of these places don't do just a subscription, because I tell you right now, even though I've been losing interest in CW, um, I would pay $5 a month during these seasons that are airing so I could just watch them without ads. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
probably would have done the same thing for AMC. And all I would have watched is The Walking Dead. And when you add it all up, I probably would have paid more money for a streaming service than had I just bought like the season pass you can buy on Vudu to get access to everything, Like, I don't know. I'm surprised these companies aren't doing it. I feel like they're losing money because suckers like me would pay for it and really not get the value that they want. But I also agree that, like, sorry, I'm talking more and more, but you
No,
made a
you're
lot of
good.
good points, and I want to touch on them. I also agree. For the longest time, I've complained about how cable services give you all these channels you don't want, that you don't care about. And I'm like, why aren't they giving us an a la carte option? Why isn't there an a la carte? I just want to get AMC. I want ESPN. I want the NFL network. Like, I want to pick what I can watch. And that hasn't been possible. Well, now we're getting into these streaming networks. And to be fair, there's not a lot of like all my favorite shows are starting to be on these streaming networks. And now I do get to pick a la carte. So rather than paying $50 a month for a package that has 50 channels, only 5 of which I even want to watch, I'm currently paying, I don't know, $30 a month for all the streaming services I want. And I get better quality content out of each of those services than I was getting before from the other ones. The only thing I miss is that I'm not getting my sports, but I'm not as into sports as I used to be anyway, so it's not like the end of the world. But I would like to be able to watch football, during the regular season more readily. But oh well, that's a trade-off I'm willing to make.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much availability for it too, with everybody getting, unlimited data and all this stuff.
Hmm.
Like everybody has the internet everywhere they go. And so, you have things like Cox Contour, for example.
Hmm.
It's got shows that you can watch outside of your home, but you still have to be paying for a TV in your home to get that.
Hmm.
And knocking that out is just the smart way to go. It's what everybody's wanted for decades, and they're just kind of inching towards it still. And it's like, why, like, get up with the age. I mean,
Yeah,
how? I
I
mean,
yeah, I really wish there was a way that like, because I do see it, the streaming services going into a cable type thing where you pay a certain amount and you get all these channels, which I'm honestly okay with. But I would like it if I could pick the channels. If you told me, hey, you get to pick 10 channels out of this list and I could pick them all, that would be awesome. But that's probably not going to happen. That's a pipe dream. But I don't know. I
yeah, I
think
mean,
ultimately
you're
it's going to
always going to end up with a situation where you're paying for what other people want to watch, but it's minimizing that as much as possible. And
yeah.
there's such massive ways to do it now that there's no excuse to not be doing it anymore.
Well, and you know what else is nice about these? So I said I'm paying about $30 a month, but that's not even really true. I do pay monthly for Netflix and Hulu. DC, my brother and I bought a year and we share it. Disney Plus, we're planning on doing the same thing, So it's like technically with some of these you can do that. Like, and some of them even encourage you to. Like YouTube TV basically encourages you to share it with your family members and split the cost. And they'll say you can watch it on up to like 4 TVs at once or whatever it is. And I think that's great. I think that's a good way for the future. Like, you're still getting your money, but now I'm willing to do it because I can split the cost with my family member or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Or like Amazon Music does the same thing with their family plan. You can even bill different people for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can say, hey, $5 of this goes here, $5 of it goes there, or so I think it's like $10 a month or something like that. Like that's the way of the future, and I'm glad companies are embracing it. Anyway, let's move on to our next one.
Okay.
So, like I said, we're going to keep on this Disney train. Disney Plus has officially confirmed to have a Falcon and Winter TV show, as well as a Loki and Scarlet Witch TV show. And the Falcon and Winter Soldier one is combined, like it's them two. I think Loki and Scarlet Witch are their own shows because the Scarlet Witch one is going to be, it's Scar Vision, I think is what they said they're going to call it because it's her and Vision.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's total fab. I'm especially excited for Loki. I mean, like,
it's funny you say that because I was going to say it's a fab except for Loki. I don't understand that.
I mean, Loki, he was a kind of a character that you felt was like, a good bad guy. Felt like in the first Avengers movie,
Yeah.
and then he became like, there's kind of a new fad happening with people loving the anti-hero, and
True.
that's kind of what Loki ended up being. Is he turned from that villain to the anti-hero, and people loved his story, myself included. I loved his transition and his personality, yeah, I mean, he was just a really fun character. So to see where they're going to take him and how they're going to explore his story more, I'm excited for that.
That's fair. That's a fair point. The anti-hero thing has become a real big deal. Everything nowadays is anti-heroes, and Venom was an anti-hero movie, Suicide Squad, Deadpool. We're getting a lot of these, and it's not just in the superhero genre. I mean, look at John Wick. He's kind of an anti-hero. I mean, he was a freaking paid assassin. That's not necessarily a good guy, but now we have a movie about him, and we love him.
Yeah.
So,
he's avenging puppies everywhere.
Yes, the Puppy Avenger.
Yeah.
I'm totally in for that fad. So I guess I can see where you're coming from with liking the Loki idea. So sometimes it doesn't take much to sell me on an idea. So I guess you sold me.
Okay.
I'll say fab.
Cool,
I
man.
think the Falcon and Winter Soldier one's going to be really cool. I just watched Winter Soldier with my wife this last week. We decided not to watch all of the Marvel movies, but we're kind of watching our favorite ones. So we watched Avengers, which I got in 4K, and it looks so good. And then Avengers: Age of Ultron, also in 4K, looks awesome. We watched Winter Soldier, which unfortunately isn't out on 4K for like a few more days. And then we're doing Civil War, Ragnarok, and Infinity War. So those 6 movies leading up to Infinity War or Endgame, and we might have to skip Ragnarok because we may not have time to watch that and Infinity War before Endgame next week. But at any rate, like it's been fun to watch those. And watching Winter Soldier, it was cool to see Falcon and Winter Soldier's interactions. And then we're actually halfway through Civil War right now. We both got too tired when we were watching it the other night and couldn't finish it. But like they have a cool interaction in that movie, in both of those movies, and so I think having a TV show of them will be cool. I think it's a good way to spotlight these characters that are more supporting characters in the other movies and give them some spotlight and
Some more depth.
yeah, and like if I'm going to be paying for the service, which I'm telling you right now I am, I'm going to pay the $70 a year thing. My brother and I are going to split it. Give me some good content. I'm down for some good content like that. Winter Soldier and Falcon, I'll watch that all day. Scarlet Witch and Vision, I was really liking seeing their relationship in Infinity War. So yeah, I want to see more of that. Loki, now that you've explained it your way, yeah, I'm down for that. Like, give me this stuff. And The Mandalorian, and they've announced another Star Wars show. Oh, they announced it a while ago, the Rogue one, which if you don't have any more thoughts, actually leads me to our next Fab or Flop.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
All right. So speaking of the Rogue One, or at least based on Rogue One Disney Plus series, it's official. Alan Tudyk will reprise his role as K2SO in that TV show.
I did see that.
Oh
That
my
is
gosh.
awesome.
Fab. I'm so excited. Like literally when we talked about this, I think you were on the show. It was before you were an official podcast member. You were a guest and you said, well, hey Max, what if K2SO's on it? Because I think I was skeptical. I was like, I don't know if I want this TV show. It sounds weird. And then you said something about K2SO, and I was like, oh, nope, I'd be down. I'd be sold. And like, I have goosebumps right now just thinking about it because K2SO is the best droid in Star Wars. I love you, R2. I do, but K2SO is better. He's so good.
I love K2SO. I mean, I have a hard time like not liking anything that Alan Tudyk does, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. If you haven't watched Doom Patrol, you need to because he's great in it.
I haven't. I need to watch it though. But I mean, just everything. I mean, Firefly, he's great. Obviously,
He was good in that.
So, there was even a show that it only lasted one season. It was like about the people who like the people surrounding superheroes. So like the victims.
Oh yeah, I never saw it, but yeah, it was like about a neighboring city to Gotham or something like that.
Yeah, he was like Bruce Wayne's cousin. Alan Tudyk was Bruce Wayne's cousin, and he ran a part of Wayne Industries where they built things to protect civilians from like falling rubble and like stuff.
I'm trying to find it in here in his bio because I heard Powerless.
Powerless, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the intro was so funny. It had like the epic like hero music playing, and it would show like images from comic books, and then it would zoom in on like the like civilian hanging from a window screaming or something, and it would look like characters, you know. And so it was funny, but his character was really good in that. And you know, even his small roles like Dodgeball, you know, Steve the Pirate, you know, like
yeah, he's just a funny guy, man. He's a delight, and he's become. I feel like he's been in the spotlight more, and I think Rogue One actually was a big part of that. Not that he wasn't in stuff before, but I feel like his name has come more to the forefront than it used to.
Right.
And yeah, he's great. Yeah, because he was in Firefly, but he wasn't a main character in that. And I think that it gave him some recognition. But Rogue One, that Star Wars power really put him in the forefront. And I don't know what it is about Alan Tudyk, but he reminds me of this other guy. I'm gonna look it up here from A Knight's Tale. Who was it? What's his name? Oh, Alan Tudyk's in it. I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
why.
he is in A Knight's Tale.
Yeah, I
He-
think that's why it reminds me. It's because Alan Tudyk is in it. Maybe it's just Alan Tudyk I'm thinking of. There's a character on the Orville that I thought was in A Knight's Tale, but he reminds me of it's his name's McCoy in Orville, and he reminds me of Alan Tudyk.
oh,
Anyway,
I mean,
um, I digress again. So anyway, we're excited about that. Let's go on and get on to our last Fabry Flub, which is we're just going to do a trailer. Episode 9's trailer came out. What'd you think?
Fab, that was awesome. I thought it was great. The I feel like the only thing that has been able to even a little bit capture the feeling of the original trilogy is Rogue One, which they did that solid throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it was very good.
And for episode 9, like it doesn't have the same kind of feel as Rogue One, but like certain elements of it that they're adding from, all the Easter eggs from the original trilogy, and like the Death Star going into, like, being in that huge lake or ocean, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Those scenes just kind of help to bring that feeling back. Some of those senses that we had from Rogue One, and I felt like they did a really good job with that.
Mhm.
And then, of course, having that laugh at the end was
Oh my god!
shocking to everyone. And
Anyone who's listened to the show and heard me talk about Star Wars knows that Palpatine's my favorite Star Wars character. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I heard that laugh. Okay, I was at work, like on a break, watching that on my phone, and I started like giggling when his laugh came up, and I'm just like, oh, I probably look so dumb right now, but I was grinning from ear to ear the whole trailer, and then that laugh, and I was like, oh, it's the Emperor! I started geeking out, man. I love him. I'm so excited he's going to be back. I'm curious to see what capacity, but
I honestly, I hope that he doesn't come back in a physical form. Like, that's not what I want to see. I want to see him as a Force ghost, some kind of influence either on Rey or Kylo Ren.
Mhm.
It could be something where he's trying to influence Rey and turn her to the dark side,
Yeah. What if it comes full circle and like it's Return of the Jedi style, where Rey has this final confrontation with Kylo Ren, and you have the Emperor's Force Ghost right there trying to do the same thing that like he did with Luke, where he's trying to turn her to the dark side? Or would that be too dumb to do that?
Well, I don't think they're going to do something like that, simply because they got so much pushback from Force Awakens being so much like A New Hope.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to try and stray from being so similar, because that they're wanting this movie to fix the things that people had issues with Rian Johnson, and not go back to they're focusing on fixing mistakes, basically, and they know that was a big one that people didn't like about Force Awakens. So I don't see them doing that. But I don't want to see him come back as a physical form. That would be disappointing to me. But the way that they portrayed him, like his voice sounded like it was coming into the trailer the same way that Luke's voice was. And so I felt like they were kind of synonymous in their influence from that.
And you know what that reminds me? It reminds me that I noticed Mark Hamill is featured his voice as the narrator of every trailer for this new trilogy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was maybe not the narrator, just his voice is featured. He was the narrator for episode 8 and episode 9, and his voice was in the episode 7's trailer, which is so funny because he has no lines in the actual movie, but in the trailer he had like 2 lines. So anyway, I just found that to be kind of a fun fact. But I agree. I think the trailer looks really cool. I'm trying not to watch it too many times, because I've fallen into this trap where I'll like watch a trailer over and over and over and over again, to where when the moment comes up in the movie, I like know that it's coming, I don't know, just it ruins kind of the full movie experience for me.
Yeah.
But I've watched it like 2 or 3 times, which is more than most, people who aren't fans would do. But anyway, I just am having so much fun with it. I loved that flip that Ray does there at the beginning.
Yes.
I'm excited to see that scene play out. I love that the Emperor's in it, of course. Excited to see more from Nathan Drake. Excuse me, Poe Dameron. He looks exactly like Nathan Drake.
I know.
And now I want Oscar Isaac to play Nathan Drake in a freaking Uncharted movie. I never would have thought of him, but now I've seen him in that outfit. I'm like, dude, he would be great because he's a real charming guy. Like he could totally pull that off. And I know Nathan Drake isn't traditionally Hispanic, but I don't care. Make him, Nathaniel Drake or whatever. I don't know. Fine. Oscar Isaac looks like he'd be great at that.
I don't think that would be a real issue, but
no, I don't either.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. But here's what I want to move on to from that.
Okay.
We'll just do one each maybe. What is like your favorite theory about Rey's lineage?
That she's a nobody. I love that already. So
okay.
I really liked that from episode 8. I was really hoping they would say she's not a Skywalker. She's nothing. Just let it be. It doesn't have to be a Skywalker every time. So that's what I want it to stay that way. But based on the name of the trailer, I don't think it's going to stay that way. Their name of the movie.
And I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I want there to be a reason for people's uniqueness in the show. And I like when they have connections with things, but I like it when they have connections with things that we already know, when it's a surprise. It's something that's outside of the box that you wouldn't think of, or at least that most people don't think of. So like my favorite theory, and I don't know where this came from. I just saw it on a comment on a video on YouTube. But because they've kind of made all the old books not canon anymore,
yeah,
and they're kind of changing a little bit, like making characters a little bit different. The theory was that Rey is actually a clone of Mara Jade. And Mara Jade, instead of being Luke's wife, was Obi-Wan's wife. And so Luke never met her. He doesn't know what she looks like. And that is why she is so she picks up using the Force so well. Because she's a clone, and she kind of has a little bit of that muscle memory from being a clone. And then the people who dropped her off at Jakku weren't actually her parents. Yeah. So they could have been the smugglers who were her like guardians at the time, but they just dropped her off at Jakku and sold her.
The more I hear about the clone theory, I'm okay with it, but I would still, the first time I heard the Luke Skywalker cloned from his hand thing, I hated it, but then I heard it explained more, and I'd be okay with her being a Skywalker if it was that. I think the clone thing could be interesting because it would still fit with episode 8. But anyway.
Well, and I like it too, because like one of the things, like I said, that they're trying to do is fix issues that people didn't like. And one of the major things is like, why did she beat Kylo Ren their first fight? She just goes, oh yeah, I'm going to tap into the Force and wins, and so,
granted, he had been shot by a freaking bowcaster.
Well,
that's what I attribute it to. He was freaking weakened.
Yeah, but even so, I mean, he shouldn't have lost when she was untrained.
Yeah.
And he was super powerful at the beginning.
He should have beaten her handily.
Yeah, he shows how powerful he is at the beginning by stopping Poe's laser in the air and just letting it sit there like he's not even trying. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it was, I mean, that was something that, obviously I loved Force Awakens, but even for me, it was like, really? I don't think
No,
that.
it still rubs me wrong too. I agree. Like she should have got her butt kicked.
Yeah,
She should have gone running. She maybe like I would have been fine if they're standing her ground, so we see, oh, she has the force. But I didn't like her winning either. I'm like, this guy's supposed to be like a trained warrior, and he got beat by this chick who's never used a lightsaber. Really?
yeah. Like maybe if she had like defended herself a little bit and then force pushed him and jumped on the freaking Millennium Falcon and flew away or something,
Yeah, I
that
would
would
have
have
been more okay with that.
been,
I
yeah,
would have even been okay with her like wounding him a little, like in the arm, but not straight up beating him like that.
right.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was kind of dumb.
But anyway, so I really like that theory. I think it's outside the box. I think it's introducing a new character that they could even use in other series. So Mara Jade was like a big fan favorite in
I love Mara Jade. I
yeah,
would love that.
and so they could use her for in Disney Plus when they're exploring the expanded universe. It could be a whole new awesome character that they bring into Star Wars. So for me, I think that's my favorite theory.
Okay. I almost think, you know what another cool theory could be? So that she's a Skywalker. Him and Mara Jade were together. They have a baby. The baby dies early and like as a baby, and they cloned that baby. I don't know.
It could
Anyway,
be that.
because
Could be.
like you could do that because then it still wouldn't be that he recognizes her. You're not going to know what your baby looks like as an adult. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's I think probably too far fetched. But
The,
you were go ahead.
the only thing is though, I would feel like he would be able to sense her,
Yeah,
sense
that's
who
true.
she is, you know.
Sense his bloodline. Yeah,
Right.
that's true. That's true. I mean, the fact that Leia could sense um, Han dying from so far away, and yeah, you're right.
And they picked, Luke and Darth Vader picked up on each other like so quickly, and
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But you reminded me of another theory that isn't related to that. It's more related to the name of the movie, and now I kind of want to talk about that really briefly.
okay, sure.
So, in the second book of the Thrawn trilogy, the new Thrawn trilogy that is canon, we learned something very interesting. And this isn't like a big spoiler for the book, but essentially, Thrawn is from a race called the Chiss. And the Chiss's word for Jedi translates to Skywalker.
Oh, interesting.
So, which was a really cool moment in the book because he's talking to Darth Vader, who he knows is Anakin, but Darth Vader doesn't think that Thrawn knows that he's Anakin because it's supposed to be the Empire's like biggest secret is that the Emperor is a Sith and that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, and they're talking to each other, and Thrawn talks about how the word Jedi in Chiss actually translates to Skywalker, and he says how he thinks that's so interesting. So the theory is that with that being canon from the Chiss language, that the rise of Skywalker could really just be that Jedi, like the rise of the Jedi.
Rise of Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool. I like that.
I like that theory too. I think that's a really cool idea for the because then the Jedi are done. Luke said the Jedi must end, and I think he kind of changed his mind, but like then the Jedi do end, and they just go with the Skywalker legacy. And as a fan of the movies, I didn't want Rey to be a Skywalker, but I still love the Skywalker legacy. My favorite of those Skywalkers being Anakin from the Clone Wars TV show, not the prequels. But I think that'd be really cool. I think that's a cool theory for the name, that like Skywalker is the rise of the new Jedi.
Yeah, I mean they would have to find a way to put that in the movies and explain the Chiss. I feel like, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I think they could find a way, because you know what else would make that interesting? The third movie in each of the trilogies technically ends with Jedi. Well, that's not true. Sorry, it's Revenge of the Sith. Never mind. And then Return of the Jedi, and then all right, never mind.
Well, I mean, yeah. So no, I think that would be really cool. I think that's an awesome way to look at it, and it's kind of ties in with how Anakin's story was so like prophesied and all that kind of stuff. Like it could tie into all of that. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a cool idea. No, I really like that. I think that would be awesome. And Skywalker is just like the Jedi reformed and hopefully better than they were before, you know?
Yeah, and now you're no longer a Jedi, you're a Skywalker.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then if they did another trilogy, it's still about Skywalkers, just
Right.
not necessarily from the bloodline of the Skywalkers.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I like that. Thanks for bringing up the theory idea. That was fun. That was
Yeah.
fun. I like that. Real quick before we get into Hellboy, which was our main topic for this week, have you watched the Amazon series Hannah at all?
I watched a little bit of it. It's
Yeah.
intense.
How much have you watched?
I watched like the first like maybe 3 episodes, I think.
Okay. What do you think so far?
Yeah, I think it's really intense. I feel like the girl who plays Hannah is she's a really good actress.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the story is kind of taking its time to build, I feel like, but
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing. It's like a little bit slow, but also kind of helps build the intent. Like it's building up to where it's just gonna like explode, like no, I think it's really good so far. The actors that they played that they picked were really well done. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't say enough good about it. I guess
I really enjoyed it. I finished it and just had a blast with it. I think it's a very good show, and I agree. The main actress was very well picked for that role. I watched the first episode when it came out after Super Bowl Sunday because they gave like a preview of that first episode. I watched it and wrote up a review about that, and then I watched the movie right after that. That the TV show is based on, and they're very different. And I won't go like too in depth because I don't want to spoil anything. I'll say that like the first half of Hannah is based. It's like a longer version of the movie, more fleshed out. Longer just sounds like it's a bad thing. It's just a more fleshed out like storyline of the movie, but still not entirely the movie. And then the second half of the season is more like its own thing that I had no previous knowledge of. But I'm very much enjoying it. I really like what they've done with Marissa Viegler in the show. In the movie, I feel like her character was so boring. Just like, have you seen the movie?
I haven't. No.
It's good. It's worth a watch. But like Marissa Viegler in the movie is very just one note, all bad. There's nothing like redeeming about her. Just a very one note villain. Not with any layers. Whereas I don't know if you've gotten far enough yet, but they really start to develop Marissa's character in the TV show to where you're like there's moments where I'm like, wait a minute, is Marissa the bad guy or is Eric the bad guy? Eric being the dad.
This is the one who kills the mom, right?
Marissa Viegler, yeah, she's like the CIA agent who like chases them around.
Okay.
But like there's some moments in the series where I'm like, wait a minute, who's the villain here?
Yeah.
And it really progresses great. Like it's not as action packed as I was expecting, but it's got enough action that it's fun. But it's more of like a spy thriller. Is that the vibe you're getting from it?
Yeah. I mean, so far, I mean, it's cool, like, because he's like training her and like teaching her all the languages, and obviously, I'm not an expert on all of the different languages, but the accents sound like they are really on par. So they really put a lot of work into authenticity.
Yeah, their accents when they speak English are very good, like for both of them.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I can see it being, going into that spy thriller. They're kind of just like still in the woods right now,
Oh, are they? Then you must be on episode 1 still if they haven't gotten out of the woods.
Well, there's, I think she just barely had like some people coming after her when I was watching it. So I might be like in the middle of an episode.
Has she met that family yet? Has she met the family?
Yes. So she met the kid in the forest cutting wood, and yeah. So
in the forest. You might still be in episode 1 then. Anyway,
okay.
That's fine. It's a really good show. So you maybe haven't even met Marissa Viegler yet. That might be why you were asking who that is.
Yeah. I saw like images of it and I thought that was her.
Mhm.
that you were talking about, and they talked about the the lady who killed the mom and all that. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
figured that's what it was.
Super good show. We don't need to talk too much more about it, but I wanted to just briefly touch on it since I finished it. I'm going to be writing a review and putting it up on the website. I don't know
Cool.
what score I'm going to give it. It's not a perfect show, but it is very good. I really liked it. And like you said about the main actress, what I find interesting about her is that I think the actual actress is like 21 or 22 years old, but she looks like she totally passes as a 15-year-old girl. Um,
She's 19.
19. Okay. But
Yeah.
I knew she was an adult,
Yeah.
technically. But she totally passes as a 15-year-old. And the fact that I think that she's a little older doesn't mean like just because you're 15 doesn't mean you can't be a good actor because you can. But those extra years of experience, I think, really allow her to do this role more justice. She's
Yeah.
got 4 extra years of acting experience behind her. And I hope her career takes off from here because I really, really enjoyed watching her.
Oh yeah, she's
Impressive.
awesome. Um,
You have
here,
her pulled up.
yeah, I have her pulled up.
Where is she from? Is she American or
England.
she's from England?
Yeah.
Wow, she does a really good German accent in her English. I honestly was like, man, maybe she's actually from like Germany. Maybe English isn't her first language because she does it, in my opinion, a very good job. But
Well, she's going to be around a lot more Germans being in Europe,
true.
I have one more for you, Max.
Okay.
Pablo Schreiber is cast as the Master Chief.
I saw that and I didn't bring it up because I honestly haven't seen him in anything.
I haven't either, but I do still have feelings about that. So
Okay.
I think it's a fab. And my reasoning behind that is because of Lord of the Rings, basically. So Lord of the Rings kind of came out with like all these characters that were, not known very well. Viggo Mortensen wasn't huge. Orlando Bloom wasn't really known yet.
I mean, there were a few.
There were a few.
Ian McKellen was already known, but he wasn't as big as he is now.
Yeah.
Elijah Wood was big, but yeah, none of them were like massive superstars, really.
Right. Yeah. So, and so I like it when they bring out people that are less well known for these types of movies, but they have to be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got to be good. And so as long as it's somebody like because a lot of characters you associate the actors with the characters, and so when you have a fresh face, you don't have that association as much. And
Yeah.
so I kind of like that. It's such an important character. The Master Chief is such an important character, and I want to see him be unique and stand out for being the Master Chief. And bringing in somebody like this is going to bring about the ability to do that.
Yeah, I think because it's Showtime, right? That's doing the Halo series.
Yes, Showtime. Yeah,
and I think Pablo Schreiber was in another series from Showtime, so it makes sense that they're choosing him again. I mean, let's see what Defending Jacob. I don't know. Maybe that's the Showtime one. American Gods. That's where people have, people were talking about him in American Gods. That he's really good. But I agree. That's really good logic. Like with an iconic character like that, I think that would be really cool to have a different actor. I do think it would have been great to just kind of do the Star Wars Darth Vader effect, where you have someone doing the acting in the suit.
Oh yeah.
But you could have just had Steve Downs do the voice still, but they might want to actually take the helmet off and see the face of Master Chief in this one. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a big joke online. Like everybody's like, "Well, now we've seen the Master Chief's face."
Right? Because they never show us in the video games, and so I wondered in the TV show if they would, but I have a feeling they will. Because like Kylo Ren, for instance, in Star Wars, he looks way better with his helmet on, but you can see more emotion. They get more, out of the acting experience, so you can see a face. So I bet they're going to do the same thing with Master Chief, where they take his helmet off, and we get to see the actor, portraying those emotions in his face and whatnot, which I think will be kind of weird, but I think that'll be cool. So I'm with you. I think that's a fab, all in all.
Cool, man. All right, we ready for Hellboy?
Yes, we are. So let's talk about Hellboy and what we thought. I reviewed it. So let's hear from you first, Tyler.
So it got. I read a lot of horrible reviews, and not really read them, but saw the rating.
Yeah.
And kind of went in with really low expectations, and it kind of met most of those. but I didn't think it was nearly as bad as what a lot of people are saying. I felt like it had a lot of redeeming qualities about it. So it wasn't terrible. I prefer the old movies more, the old Hellboy movies more. But this one kind of had like a completely different feel from those. Like,
Absolutely.
So it, as much as I did prefer the other ones before, this one could appeal to a different viewer, I guess. Just depending on what your preference is. But I feel like it was, really well done with like the choreography, and the fight scenes were really cool, fun to watch. Especially like when he fights the giants, like that.
Yes, that was probably my favorite part of the movie. So good.
Are we announcing spoilers, by the way?
Yeah, like usual, spoilers.
Spoilers, people. So, yeah, man, like I love it. He just like makes a freaking giant like fall with a tree through his face,
Yeah.
So I mean, it was really cool. Like the fact that they made it a little bit more gruesome kind of like opened up some avenues for them in the fight scenes,
which I think was fitting for the character. I think that the original Hellboys would have been a little better if they had been allowed to use some more gore.
Right. Yeah. Some of the gore at the end was maybe a little over the top.
That's one of my complaints. There's too much gore.
Yeah.
But, like, if you could have found a happy medium, it would have been better.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there were certain parts where it was like, okay, that's a lot of gore, but like it wasn't like ridiculously over the top gore.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, it was just like, holy crap, what is happening right now?
Yeah, like when that monster's walking with like 6 people skewered on each of its legs, I'm just like, why?
Well, like the biggest one for me was like where he tosses that guy up and then like pulls him down and like just slowly like cuts his body in half. And like, you remember that one? Like it just like the guy had the demon had like that spear head, and it was just like a blade, and he just like sliced the body down like this on either side of his head. It was it's just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, that was an issue I had with the film. Like when there's so much gore that I see a fight scene and I don't see gore and I'm surprised, there's too much. Like I was expecting with every punch that Hellboy gave that someone's head was going to explode or that a gallon of blood was going to come out of their mouth, and so when it didn't, I was like, oh, there wasn't gore. Like,
yeah,
it's supposed to be the other way around. Like, gore is supposed to like add some shock value, and
right.
And even in those films that want to be gorier, it's going to have less shock value because you see it a lot.
Right.
This was just, it was so over the top. There was too much. Like,
yeah, I mean, they had the right idea with wanting to add a little bit of that because I mean, you're dealing with fighting demons and stuff. But
yeah, I agree. Like that giant fight was awesome.
Oh, it was so cool,
incredible.
Yeah, my best part of the movie, in my opinion.
It was absolutely it was, and that twist before it too, where you think they're going to help him fight the giants, and then they turn on him. Like that whole sequence was very good. Like that was probably the best 10 minutes of the movie, and it kind of went downhill from there. And it wasn't. I don't think it was bad. I'm with you. It was not a bad movie, but from the trailers, I thought it was going to be really funny. And did you think it was that funny?
There. I mean, it kind of had different tones. Like there were parts of it that were really funny. Like there were definitely parts where I was laughing out loud
Yeah,
in the theater. But it didn't have as much comedy as the original ones. You know,
yeah.
it definitely was toned down in that area.
And I felt like a lot of the funniest stuff was in the trailers, and that was kind of a bummer. Like the trailers made it look like it was going to be quite funny, and it was, but it kind of just didn't land for me. Like it was just a little bit funny, and it to me it was marketed as like a comedy, like a
Yeah.
superhero horror comedy. And in my review, I talk about that. Like, I felt like it was a movie trying to do three things, which is fine. Like, you can do three things in a movie. Like, Infinity War does comedy and superhero all in one. You know, that's only two, but like a lot of these movies can do multiple things, and I felt like it just didn't succeed at any of them. It didn't fail at any of them either, but it wasn't that funny. The superhero side of it was very generic, and the horror side was just kind of meh. I would actually say the horror side was probably the best of those three, because I honestly, one of my favorite aspects of the movie was just the world in general. I really enjoyed the world. Like some of the costuming gave me like an underworld feel. You know, like have you seen the underworlds, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know how like the lichens in those are kind of silly looking, you
Yes.
know?
Mhm.
And like that boar, that guy with that big old boar head, kind of gave me that a similar vibe.
Yeah.
Underworld is not meant to be silly, and it's not silly at all. Underworld's really good, but it kind of gave me that similar vibe of the world, and I really enjoyed that. The Baba Yaga stuff was kind of cool. The world in general, the giants, I loved the world building very much, but it was just kind of funny, not very funny. It was just generic in the superhero stuff, like good
If they
guy has powers that also have an evil side to it, and he has to decide whether or not he wants to be evil or good. Like that's a pretty played out story, and it just was predictable as well.
Well, I mean, that's kind of Hellboy's story, though. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I don't think they were going to change that base idea, but the I don't know. I feel like if they would have taken the level of gore in it and like you know leveled that out and then
dialed
applied
it down to a 7 from an 11.
dialed that down and then dialed up the comedy a little bit more, it would have been a much better movie.
I agree.
The other issue that I had though, like, because I liked the story with King Arthur, like I thought that was really cool.
I liked that too. That was a cool twist. I
Yeah,
enjoyed that.
but at the same time, you're like, why does he have a big hand? You know, like the first one, the whole thing was about his hand was the key to the underworld and releasing this god and yada yada, right? Like,
Yeah.
but in this one, it was just like I have a big hand and it smashes things. That's it. That's the whole story behind the hand.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So it was just it kind of was anticlimactic with who he is in that sense. But being the like, what do you call him? A demi devil or a demi like
Oh, him? Yeah, I
yeah,
guess.
instead of a demigod, he's like a demi devil. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of demi demon,
Demi demon, yeah.
demigorgon.
Demigorgon, yeah, he's a demigorgon. um, yeah, I mean it was still cool. I thought that was kind of a cool story. But yeah, it kind of took away from like who is Hellboy a little bit. But yeah, the other thing that I was thinking of is, dude, what is up with Mia Jovovich? Like half the time I see her, I'm like, she's kind of pretty, and then the other half I see her and I'm like, she's totally smoking hot. I don't understand that. Like she looked super great in this movie after she was like not in pieces anymore, but
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that because I felt the same way. I was like, when I've seen her in the Resident Evils, I don't think she's really that pretty. But in this movie, I was like, wow, she's a really pretty woman. Yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of
like,
funny. Yeah.
I don't get it, but they did a great job. Whatever they did, keep doing that. Mia Jovovich. That's what I have to say.
What did you think of her character?
I thought she was really good, but I thought that she did a great job portraying it. I thought that her presence was really good. Like she was supposed to be like the like feared like evil witch, and she did a really good job of bringing that presence out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was just a little bit confused about why did she need a king so much, you
Yeah,
know?
that like I did not understand her mission. It made no sense. I'm like, you're
She
all powerful. Why do you need him? Like,
she yeah, she just barely gets out of being in this casket for what, like 1,000 years, I think they said it was.
something like that.
And then she risks going and having that same existence because she's trying to hook up with Hellboy. Like,
Yeah,
I,
it was weird. Like I understand that like he was the key to opening the underworld, but she had enough power. She didn't need the underworld. Like,
she had all kinds of demons and everything already, like
yeah,
ready to do her bidding. I don't know.
yeah. I agree. I thought that was a big story gap. I'm like, what? You spent the whole movie? She basically ended up hurting herself. She lost the fight because she gave him the power to defeat her.
Yeah, she's like trying to give it to him. Like, oh, here's the only thing that can kill me. Take it, And the way I'm going to get you to take it is by pissing you off.
Right?
you know.
Yeah, it was weird. I thought she did like the actress did a good job with what was written for her, and I enjoyed the villain. But yeah, that side of the story was
Yeah,
lacking.
like
Like what?
I'm gonna kill your dad to get you to take the sword and then expect you not to slice me with it.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Like what?
Dumb.
So
So that the dad thing reminds me. Um, I thought that the power of that girl who could kind of bring the dead back to life was cool, but to be honest, in general, I thought the supporting cast, other than Ian McShane, was kind of boring. Um, I didn't really connect with that girl that did the dead bringing back to life thing. I didn't really like the guy who turned into like a giant leopard monster or whatever. Like I don't know. Like I don't feel like they were developed very well. They weren't interesting to me. What did you think of them?
yeah, I mean, I can see that. The one thing that I did like, I liked the girl. I liked the girl who could like summon the spirits out of her mouth.
I liked her. I just thought she wasn't that interesting in the end.
I don't know. I thought she was kind of cool. The way that they ended the show with her fighting didn't make any sense. Like somehow she all of a sudden became like this MMA master, and then like she had to punch everyone before she shot them. Like it didn't like it was just like she was running around, punch, then shoot you, punch, then shoot you. It's like, why don't you just shoot him? Like,
Yeah.
but so that was weird. The soldier guy, I can't remember their names. They
I can't even. They were kind of forgettable. That's
yeah. He wasn't that cool. I don't know. I
He
could have
wasn't
done.
very likable. The whole movie, he's like, "I'm going to kill Hellboy," and then like that whole storyline didn't really play out very well. Like
Yeah, like
I hate you for like not really any good reason, other than he just hates demons. And then he's like, "No, I don't hate you anymore because I'm a monster too."
no,
I
I
don't know,
think he
because
just
he saved the day too. But like,
I think Hellboy just proved that he could, you know, be good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
whereas he didn't believe that any demon was going to be good, and
yeah,
so but yeah, I mean, the way his story played out, it was more of he was a douche, and then they kind of did a little bit for you to explain like his backstory of like this is why I'm a douche, but
yeah,
it make you think that he wasn't a douche anymore. Like,
yeah.
like so yeah, I mean, it wasn't he wasn't a likable character at all. Yeah, the supporting cast was mostly kind of meh. Um,
I
I did
agree that that girl was better than the officer guy, but Neither of them was like super great. Like Ian McShane's character, Professor Broom, I liked him a lot, and I liked him in Hellboy's interactions and their chemistry together. But Ian McShane is just incredible. He's a really good actor.
Yeah, I wanted him to tell Mia Jovovich that she was excommunicado.
Oh,
And
man.
then just have all these people in the streets like start looking at her, looking at their phones and then looking at her.
Oh, man. I've got my freaking tickets for John Wick 3, by the way. Super
Oh,
excited.
really?
And
Oh,
Lance, the series sergeant's going to be here visiting me in Colorado Springs. We're going to go see it together.
well, great. Who am I going to go see it with?
Not Lance.
I'll have to get some people, but because I know Kaylee's not going to go watch that with me. So,
Lame. Yeah, Kelsey wouldn't go with me either. But yeah, so looking through my notes here about the movie, I think I actually kind of already. Oh, you know what? Here's one more positive thing. I really liked David Harbour, just in general. Granted, I like that actor in general as well, but I thought he did a good job with the character. I liked Hellboy, like the character. I really liked, and I thought he had some witty lines. That after credit scene, by the way, with oh man, what's that actor's name? But with the dead guy in the graveyard, that was hilarious. That's probably the funniest part of the whole movie when Hellboy's like drunk there in the graveyard. Like David Harbour did a really good job, and I love. It's in the trailer, but that moment where he's like, okay, like I don't know, like he's talking about how she's talking about her plot or whatever, and I can't remember exactly, but there were just some really great moments for him, and I liked the look of Hellboy as well. I think this Hellboy looks cooler than the original one did.
I didn't like his face very much.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of like, what's up with his face? He can't. I mean, I guess he looked.
He looked more demonic. He didn't look
looked
like just a red painted human.
Yeah,
That's why I liked it.
Yeah, he did look more demonic, but
And his teeth like were kind of sharper,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But his face was just kind of a little bit more distorted too. I felt like it was like.
Let me pull this up. I'm Hellboy side by side. Let's see. Do a screen share of this. See if we can figure out what you're talking about here. No, that's not what I wanted. Just a second. I'm going to share my screen here.
Yeah, like his forehead is all like kind of more scrunched, and then like his cheekbones kind of look
there
more.
It is right there. Like here, yeah. So
I love the rest of it. Like his hand looks awesome. Like everything else looks really good.
Yeah,
but
his face definitely looks different, but I like it. I don't know. I really like it.
So some of the ones that show a close up of his face are going to show a little bit more. I mean, it does look more demonic. So going for that.
Here we go. This one's a little bit more close up of his face. Can you see that one?
Yeah. So his face looks kind of like messed up a little bit.
Yeah, and I like that.
And his eyes are kind of creepy, which was cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like it as much. I like the original one a little bit more.
It's fair. It's fair. I really like it, but that's all right.
But the rest of everything like looks good. Like so I think they did a good job with the rest of his makeup there.
And what did you think of him like in that role? Did David Harbour do a good job in your opinion?
Oh yeah, I thought he did fantastic. I think it would be hard for him to not do a good performance. I think the people who are casting him kind of know his personality and what's going to fit him. And, yeah, but he's really good. I don't have any complaints about him. I felt like when they did have the comedy segments that we obviously both felt were too far and few and far between. He did a really good job and just nailed it. You know what I mean? Like he was just on par with all of that.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, no, I think he did awesome. But once again, I mean, we had our complaints about Hellboy that we've expressed, but I didn't feel like it received it deserved the negativity that it received.
I agree. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. and I think that's a very deserving review. It's not a good movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just the very middle of the road. Like, because I collect comic book style movies, I'm probably still going to pick this up when it comes out. I might wait for a sale, but I liked it. And it's funny because the other day when we reviewed the Hellboy movies, I gave them like a 3 out of 5. But I think I would rather rewatch this Hellboy than those. Um, and I don't know why, even though I would give this one a lower score. I don't think it's as good of a movie, but I think it's a movie that I would rather watch than the
Yeah.
other ones. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, and it'll be interesting. I don't know how well it's doing. I think it's kind of bombing here. I don't know how it's doing
Oh, it's doing
internationally.
terrible.
Um,
Shazam beat it, and Shazam's been out like 3 weeks. You
yeah,
know,
but I don't know how well it's doing internationally.
that's
Do
true.
you,
I
do
don't
you
like
know
that.
that?
I don't.
Yeah, we'll see if it gets a sequel and see how that goes. I the other thing that I thought would have been good for the movie is the fire girl, the love interest.
Yeah, I missed her. Like that. That's why I think another issue I had. I'm like, why isn't she, in this at all?
Yeah,
She's being
because
so
part of the big thing
domestic.
from Hellboy, because I didn't read the comics, but from the movies, is like one of the things that he wants the most is normalcy. He wants some normalcy that he sees from humans, like
Yeah,
and the relationship is like the biggest thing.
yeah.
And um
So it doesn't have the foreign numbers yet, but it's made about 17 million domestically, and the budget was about 50 million.
17. Yeah, that's not good. That is
No,
bad.
it's very bad. I
They
mean,
only had a $50 million budget?
yeah, which surprises me because I thought the CGI was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean everything visually looked really good. And then I'm sure that Mia Jovovich isn't super cheap.
Yeah. So looking at this, oh, that's bad. I don't even know what Little is. So Hellboy wasn't even number 2. Shazam this past weekend did 24 million. Little did 15 million, and Hellboy did 12 million.
Yeah, what's little?
I don't even know. Oh, this actually looked pretty funny. It's this movie about this woman who like is kind of a biatch, and she doesn't like kids, and then she wakes up as like a little kid. So it's like the opposite of Big. So yeah, instead of turning older, she turns to like a 15-year-old girl, and she has to like figure out how to get back to an adult by learning how to be nice to people. So
Okay.
I don't know. The trailer looked really good. I'm not explaining it very well, but it did look good. But for
But
that
see, I
to do
can see
better
how.
than Hellboy is kind of sad for Hellboy.
Yeah, I mean the problem is that Hellboy has such a cult following, and I feel like they're relying on that. and and with all the bad reviews coming out, like that cult following is not excited about it. And
They weren't. I mean, Lance is a huge fan of Hellboy, and he wasn't excited for this one.
yeah, and so the little can is going to be able to appeal to like everyone
A
basically.
wider audience. That's true. That's true.
So,
Well,
but
I think I've said my piece about Hellboy. Do you have any further thoughts?
no, man. I think honestly, the only thing I would say further is I would honestly probably give it a three out
Okay.
of five.
But you would say that you like the other Hellboys better?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I gave the first one was a 3.5.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, I liked both of the previous Hellboys definitely a little bit more, but this one was fine. Like I still enjoyed it. It was still had its moments where it was funny. It had some really cool elements to it. It had giants that got slaughtered. That was awesome.
Yeah,
And
that action sequence was better than any action sequence in the other two. Like that was a cool scene. Really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it made the movie for sure. But yeah, man, it was good. I would say, if you have a weekend where you're like, I'm not doing anything, go watch it.
It's funny you say that because that's almost exactly what I said at the end of my review. I said, "Hey, look, if you like going to the movies, it's worth a watch. It's a fun time. Like I enjoyed myself watching the movie. But if you're a little bit more choosy about what you spend your money on going to the movies, maybe go watch Shazam, or wait until this weekend and watch Endgame. Which, if you're listening to this podcast, you better be going to watch Endgame. Come on, come on.
If
But
you're anybody anywhere, you better be going to watch it.
it's kind of true. Like, it's funny when someone tells me they haven't seen Infinity War. I'm like, what is the name of the rock you're living under?
Yeah, right.
And do I need to pay for you to see this movie? I mean, come over to my house. I'll watch it with you. But then again, if you haven't seen Infinity War, have you seen the other 21 movies leading up to it?
Probably not.
Like,
Yeah.
even my dad has seen those.
That's saying
My
something.
mom, actually, my dad's not as saying as much because he likes to go to the movies. But my mom's not as into that stuff, and even she's seen all of them. And I think she's actually even excited to go see Endgame.
Yeah, that is saying something, knowing your parents.
Yeah, and according to my mom and dad, Captain Marvel was a great movie. They're wrong, but according to them, it was a good movie. Right.
Yeah, it was all right. It was good.
Better than Hellboy.
It was better than Hellboy. Yeah, we'll say that. But not better than Shazam, so go watch Shazam.
So let's do this. We've been doing this on almost every podcast so far, because we did it with Captain Marvel. We said we liked Alita better than Captain Marvel. What's been the best movie, in your opinion, this year?
This year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you're gonna put me on the spot and making me think about what's been this year.
I'm going to say Shazam. So
I'm gonna probably say Glass.
okay. You did really love Glass, so that's fair.
I loved Glass. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, I need to watch it again. I have it on my Vudu already. I just need to rewatch it now.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched it yet. Oh, but that does make me think about something, because I feel like Glass is a movie that was great to see in the theaters, but not necessarily something that creates that big of a difference in the theaters. Like watching it at home, you can still get like most of the effect.
Yeah, it's not like a big blockbuster thing.
Right. And this is something that my wife and I talk about all the time because she feels like we go to more of the movies that I want to see in theaters. And it's probably true. But at the same time, I'm like, think about the movies that you want to see. Like they're dramas, they're like chick flick.
Like what's the difference between seeing a chick flick in the movies and in your house?
Yeah, you want to see. You want to see
better at your house when you can snuggle with your significant other.
Right, yeah. And a lot of the movie theaters, like they got the armrests in between, and like, yeah. But no, it's Hellboy. You want to see giants getting slaughtered on a giant screen like that.
Yeah,
that makes so much of a difference. So if you're going to watch Hellboy, get a better experience. Go to the movie theater and watch it.
I agree.
Before it's out, because it's not going to be there for very long.
It's true. That's a pretty bad display your first weekend. It's bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that'll do it for us. So before we wrap up, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of do our little sign-offs here. Also, since Lance isn't here, we can't do our routine. So I'll just start with nerds, okay? And we'll alternate.
Sounds good.
But as usual, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are at Couch Crunchers at all of those. Also, check us out on the website, couchcrunchers.com. And just there's articles going up, on a weekly basis, usually a couple a week, if not more. I'm going to be putting up a review of Hannah. We've got our Hellboy review up there. Endgame is going to be up there. If you're into anime stuff, our movie mechanic Sam has been putting up weekly articles about the Shonen Jump app. He really enjoys that stuff. So check that stuff out. And of course, keep listening to the podcast. And if you guys could review us on whatever platform that you do, that would be great. It really helps us get a boost in the ratings, helps more people find out about us. And if you like us, hey man, I'm sure you want more people to listen to us as well. So do us that. It would be really awesome. Tyler, do you want to say anything about the Phoenix Comic Con, whatever it's called that you're going to?
Yes. So Phoenix Fan Fusion is going to be awesome. Everyone, definitely go to it. I'm just double checking the dates because I totally am not remembering the dates right now. End of May. It's May 23rd to the 26th, and we are actually going to be doing 6 panels throughout Comic Con, and then also, you know what? Frodo's going to be there. Summer Glau's going to be there. Jeff Goldblum's going to be there. I mean, there's got some really awesome guests are going to show up. Darth Maul is going to be there. I mean, you got to get some pictures with Darth Maul. So
Yeah, man, I'll want to see those.
but definitely, go, get your One Ring picture with Frodo, and then head over and check out our panels. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. All right, cool. We'll put up more details to follow. Get you some more information about what those panels are, when they are. But yeah, so that'll do it for us. Until next time, nerds,
Dorks,
geeks,
unite!